Bradford City continue their 2024-25 league campaign with a home clash against Andy Crosby's Tranmere Rovers. He's their interim manager until the end of the season. That was confirmed the other day. But in today's video, you're going to find out how both teams have got on so far this campaign, what my starting 11 would be for this match if I was Graham Alexander. If you do want to enjoy, make sure to like, comment and subscribe. But my team, Bradford City, we currently sit second in the Sky Bet League 2 table. After 36 matches, we've got 19 wins, 9 draws and 8 defeats, scoring 48 goals and conceding 30, the second least amount in the division. It leaves us on a positive 18 goal difference and 66 points. Our last couple of matches have been a loss, a win, a win, a win and a win. It was very nice not to have to play a game on Tuesday. I think before just after Saturday being played, we played 13 games in 40 days. Saturday, Tuesday consistently since the beginning of January. Unfortunately, last Saturday was one game too far for us as Gillingham picked up their second win in just 16 of 17 matches. We lost this game 1-0. A really sloppy goal to concede from a set piece. Jack Shepherd needs to be stronger. I think Lapsley will be disappointed that he did get nutmegged on the line, but we didn't really create that much, especially in the second half. Gillingham worked really hard for it though and probably did deserve all 3 points. We also had a 3-0 win at home to Cheltenham Town. We saw on Tuesday they're obviously a pretty decent team away from home. They beat fellow promotion chasers AFC Wimbledon at 2-1 away from home. So this 3-0 result for us, where we absolutely battered them, now looks to be a real good result for us. They didn't really offer all too much and we were very good. If that game finishes 5 or 6-0, I don't think anyone really complains. George Lapsley's got a brace on his full Bradford City debut. We also had a dramatic 2-1 win away at Salford City. They took the lead in the 30th minute after some pretty sloppy play for us. Jack Shepherd kind of lost his man a little bit too easily, but Brad Halliday scored his first goal of the season to equalise, and Michael Mellon scored his first Bradford City goal in the 94th minute. Absolute scenes in that away, an absolute carnage, and great for Mellon to finally score. It was probably his hardest chance that he's had in a Bradford City shirt. Obviously he did score in the game after against Cheltenham. We also had a 1-0 win away to Bromley. Bobby Poynton scoring the only goal of the game. Anthony Sarswick scored in the first half, but it seemed to be wrongfully ruled for offside. We've seen a couple dodgy refereeing decisions not going our favour so far this campaign, but this was a brilliant 3 points for us. When you look at Bromley's recent run of form before Saturday, they'd won 5 of their last 6. The only game they hadn't won was this one against Bradford City, so big credit to Graham Alexander's side, because we also had a 2-0 win at home to MK Dons. Anthony Sarswick scoring a brace in this one. They were still managed by Scott Lindsay at the time. Absolutely awful. Didn't have a shot until the 75th minute. Dominated possession, did nothing with it, and we scored 2 very nice goals through our number 10. If we compare that though to Tranmere Rovers, they currently sit down in 22nd in the League 2 table. After 36 matches, they've got just the 7 wins, the second least amount of wins in the entire division. They've drawn 12 games and lost at 17, scoring 27 goals and also conceding 55, which is the second most in the entire division after Newport County. It leaves them on a minus 28 goal difference, the worst in the division, and at 33 points. Their last couple of matches have been a win, a draw, a loss and a loss. Since Andy Crosby has come in though, it is 3 games undefeated for them. They've beaten an informed Bromley side. They drew with Port Vale as well. We are going to get onto that now, as they did obviously most recently have a 2-1 win at home to Bromley. Like I mentioned, they're a very informed side, but Tranmere were just more clinical. Josh Hawkes finally getting an opportunity and he rewarded Crosby with a goal. Amari Patrick, former Bantam, their top scorer. I think he's got 6 or 7 now so far this season, scoring the winner in the second half, but one I'm sure the Bromley keeper will be a little bit disappointed with. They also had a 1-1 draw away to Grimsby. Again, this is a decent point with how good Grimsby have been recently. To be fair, Tranmere did score about 10 seconds, or it certainly seemed like that to me, before Sam Finlay eventually rifled home into the back of the net. But under Crosby, they have been very hard to beat, so it's not one that I think will be very straightforward for Bradford City. They also had a 1-1 draw at home to Port Vale. Again, you look at the stats, it was quite an even game, or maybe Tranmere did slightly edge it. Former Bantam Connor Wood seen red in that game as well. I think it was a last man foul or a second yellow card, something like that, because he was back for their recent match, I believe, against Bromley. They also had a 1-0 defeat at home to Accrington. This was the final straw for Nigel Adkins. He was sacked after this game. Sean Whalley has done that a few times though so far this season, where Accrington have won 1-0 and he's just been the difference between the two sides. They dominated possession, had loads of shots, but really lacked that clinical edge in front of goal. When I assume they started with Josh Davison, they did. You've got absolutely no chance. He is an absolutely awful footballer. Why they paid money for him, why Wimbledon paid money for him, I will never know. And they also had a 2-1 defeat away away to Notts County. To be fair, they actually played quite well in this game and probably deserved at least a point. It was just a few individual moments of brilliance that were enough for Notts County to secure all 3 points. But you think of the amount of former Bantams that are in their side, the likes of Amari Patrick, Connor Wood, got Luke McGee in goal as well, one of the best goalkeepers in the entire division. It's not going to be an easy game, but teams who want promotion, yes, they've been on a recent good run of form. If Bradford City want promotion come the end of the season, we have to be putting Tranmere to the sword and be beating them 2 or 3-0 for me. Before we do any further though with today's video, don't forget to drop a like on there for me and subscribe to the channel as well if you are new. Can we try to 80 likes on today's video? That'd be massively appreciated. And don't forget to get your thoughts in down in the comment section down below. What is your score prediction for this match? What would your starting 11 be as well? We've got a few players back from injury last Saturday. I don't think the likes of Poynton, Sarswick, Patterson will be back in anytime soon. Definitely not for this game. Poynton might make next Saturday, all being well. But again, we've not really got that many options at the moment. I think we've only got 19 players to choose from. In terms of my team then, I would stick with the 3-4-2-1 formation. I have made a couple of changes from last Saturday. In goal, I would go with Sam Walker. Not really much that he can do about the goal that Gillingham scored last weekend, so nothing really much to complain about for me. I think since Christmas, for the large part, he has been very good on the whole. I think Joe Hilton probably coming in January has certainly helped improve his performances, but recently we've been keeping a load of clean sheets, haven't conceded at home in our last 6 matches, so he definitely starts for me in goal. At right centre back, I'd go with Aidan Baldwin. Now here is a stat for you. As I did just mention, we have obviously kept 6 clean sheets at home on the bounce. The only defender, central defender that is to play and start in all of them games is Aidan Baldwin. He obviously played in our 3-0 win against Walsall alongside Shepherd and Kelly. He played in our 1-0 win against Morecambe alongside Shepherd and Kelly. He played in our 1-0 win at home to Harrogate alongside Shepherd and Critchlow, with Huntington coming on as a substitute. He played in our 1-0 win at home to Accrington alongside Johnson and Shepherd, with Huntington coming on in that game. He played in the win against MK Dons alongside Johnson and Critchlow, and he played in the 3-0 win at home to Cheltenham alongside Burn and Shepherd, with Huntington coming on. And I think Aidan Baldwin does deserve a lot of credit for that, because like I mentioned, we have chopped and changed that defence, but he's been a big part of our recent success. And I must admit, when we signed him in at the start of the season, I wasn't entirely convinced, but I think since he gave that penalty away against Barrow, he's been very, very good since then. So for me personally, he has to stay in this team, because I think he's been a real rock at the back for us. In the middle, I would go with Paul Huntington. Now I guess it really does depend on how Tranmere are going to line up. If they go with a Christian Dennis, you don't really need a Huntington, but if they go with a Davison, or if Luke Norris is fit and they maybe go with him up front, that's where I think you are going to need a Paul Huntington. So it's a bit hard to really judge, but I think we could do with Huntington's experience in that, because at left centre back I would go with Romney Critchlow. I haven't been entirely impressed with Jack Shepherd over the last couple of games. I think he could do better with the Gillingham goal. I think he should do better with the Salford goal as well. He nearly cost us late on in the match against Cheltenham. Yes, in the grand scheme of things, conceding there wouldn't have been the end of the world, but I just think that maybe he could do with a game out. Bring him back in next Saturday against Colchester potentially, but Critchlow for me, I think, has warranted another opportunity to start in this one, just with how, I wouldn't say poor, but he's had a few lapses of concentration recently, has Jack Shepherd. In terms of my midfield four then, at right wing back, I'd stick with Brad Halliday. Wasn't amazing against Gillingham, but I don't think was poor in many regards. He just kind of have an average 5 or 6 out of 10. So hopefully he can get back to his best in this game. I think that's going to be a bit of a repetitive thing that I say about a lot of these players. In my 2 central midfield spots, obviously with no Alex Patterson, it probably does have to be Richie Smallwood up first. I thought he was okay against Gillingham. Again, not really a lot to write home about, but recently I think a big part of how good our home form has been, a lot of credit does have to go to Richie Smallwood, and I would partner him alongside Brandon Cale. I actually thought he was having quite a good game against Gillingham and was surprised to see him come off after an hour. We then put Aidan Baldwin in midfield, like I mentioned before. I don't mind us putting Baldwin in midfield for the last 10-15 minutes when we're winning by a goal or two to help us see it out, and you need to bring on another maybe more physical centre-half, but not when you're 1-0 down. Cale is having a pretty decent game and you then put a centre-half into midfield. Again, I don't think he's bad at that role. I just would rather have someone more naturally in there, like a Kayla or Patterson when he is fit. As my left wing back, I would stick with Teo Adaramola. Again, I don't think he was amazing against Gillingham, but we've seen recently his home performances. He looks very good. Got a brilliant assist last Tuesday against Cheltenham for our opening goal, and he's got that ability just to leave a player for dead. As my 2 number 10s then, again, not really many options at the moment. Firstly, I would go with Jamie Walker. I thought he had a decent period in the game against Gillingham. probably towards the end of the second half start, the end of the first half start of the second half, so I would give him another opportunity. I think recently he's been assisting a lot of goals. I think he is now up to 6 assists so far this season for Bradford City, the most of any player, and you can consider how, I wouldn't say limited his game time has been, because a lot of them assists have come recently, but it goes to show that when a player maybe gets that bit between their teeth once again, which I think maybe had gone a little bit earlier on in the season. Now though, we've got Jamie Walker back, and if he keeps up these performances between now and the end of the season, I don't see any reason why, regardless of the division that we are in, if I can get my words out, why he wouldn't get at least another year at Bradford City. And as the other number 10 then, I would go with George Lapsley. Massively impressed against Cheltenham, didn't really do all too much against Gillingham, but he's a League 2 player for a reason. You know, there's going to be times where he has that inconsistency. I certainly don't think it was down to work rate whatsoever, and again, it's either George Lapsley, Clark Adore or Tommy Lee. So I would definitely go with George Lapsley in my opinion, and as my striker, I would go with Michael Mellon. I thought Tommy Lee really struggled against Gillingham, should have scored that one-on-one as well, and I think Michael Mellon has a bit more of that clinical nature about him. I think he holds the ball up better, he links the play better as well, he's a bit more mobile, so I don't really see why you would start a Tommy Lee or a Callum Kavanagh over Michael Mellon at the moment. I think Mellon is certainly the biggest goal threat on the bench, and for me, that would leave Joe Hilton, Callum Johnson, Jack Shepherd, Tyreek Wright, Clark Adore, Tommy Lee and Callum Kavanagh. The players currently unavailable for this game are Lewis Richards, is obviously going to miss the remainder of the season. Alex Patterson is now back jogging, but he's still going to be a couple of weeks. Anthony Sarsfield, we haven't been given much of a time frame on him. Hopefully he'll be back for next Saturday, but I can't see him making this one. He only got injured 2 weeks ago, so that's probably the best possible scenario if he's maybe on the bench on Saturday, but I don't think we really need to risk him. So I'd maybe, even if he is 50% fit, I'd still rest him for next Saturday because he's going to be more important. We don't want him to re-damage that hamstring and make it worse. Bobby Poynton, obviously, with that bruised foot, again, it sounds unlikely he'll make this Saturday. Hopefully, he'll be back for next week. And obviously, Andy Cook as well, out with the ACL. So the players who miss out then through selection will be Colin Doyle, Kieran Kelly, who is now back available, and also Harry Ibbotson. In terms of a score prediction for this game, I'm going to go Bradford City 1, Tranmere Rovers 0. Jamie Walker to get the goal right in front of the Cobb, 83rd minute is what I'm going to go with. Thank you so much for watching today's video. Make sure to like, comment and subscribe. Your support as always is massively appreciated. Can we try and hit 80 likes, as I said at the start of today's video? That'd be massively appreciated. And don't forget to get your score predictions and starting 11 in down below. Thank you so much for the support on this channel. We're really trying to push 4,000 subscribers so we can start earning a bit of dollar on here. I'll see you very soon for another one. Make sure to share the channel around with your family and friends. Get them all to subscribe. Get their cat to subscribe. Their dog. Their wallet. Get everyone subscribed.